All right, here's your notes for the day. We're doing rate of change, um, which is also slope, which is what we just did a couple days ago, Thursday and Friday. Uh, Except for we're finding slope from a table instead of a graph. So we found slope on a graph first. Now we're going to do it on a table. Once we get to your assignment, I'm going to show you how it works on both. Okay, so now we wrote this down here in class, and the one that we really need to focus on today is the change in y on top of the change in x, which means rise over run. Okay, rise means up and down, run means side to side. Okay, the change in y means how it's changing up and down. The change in x, how it's changing side to side. Okay, so we could take, let me see what the next page is. We could take this table here and graph it, right? We could graph x of 2, y of negative 1, x of 4, y of negative 2, and we could turn that, you only need 2 points for a line, so we could draw the line and then find out how tall that is, meaning the y, draw the line, connect the two dots, draw the line, sorry, and then turn that, in my class we turn it into a triangle, and then we see how tall that triangle is, and we see how long that triangle is. The height of the triangle is the y, and the width of the triangle is the x, which we can find easily slope from that, because y'all proved that last week. Okay, so instead of putting it on a graph right here, this is happening just at a table. Okay, so what is this change in y right there? It's going from negative 1 to negative 2. That is negative 1, a change of negative 1. And then right here, the change in x. Got to go in the same direction. Notice we're going from the first y and the first x to the next one. So the change in x is just a plus 2. Okay, and y, it's not a plus 2, it's a 2. Y is the rise, right? Think of y as the vertical line. So right here we have negative 1 is the y, 2 is the x. So that's just negative 1/2 is the slope. You can look at, use a different color here. I want to talk about the same problem. If, let's say this one right here didn't exist. Okay, it wasn't written there. All right, actually, let's just do this one too. Okay. So we could go from negative 3 to negative 6, which is a change in minus 3. And we could go from 6 to 12, which is a change of positive 6. So if we put the rise, meaning the y, on top, which is negative 3, and the x, which is the horizontal, or the run on the bottom, that is negative 3 over 6, right? Well, what does that equal? It just equals negative 1/2, which is the same answer. So if if you end up skipping a y, then you can still get the correct answer. Whoa, that's not what I want. But you just need to make sure that whatever you do on one side, that you do the same thing on the other. Okay, so, but honestly, I don't recommend skipping, because what's the point? Then you have to simplify, and I know y'all don't like that. So let's look right here. Example 2. The change in y, vertical, is 4, and the change in x, horizontal, is 1. So the change in y is 4, change in x, 1, and 4 over 1 is just 4. Okay. Go ahead and write down the next two and just kind of see what you think as well. I know the next one, example 3, simplifies. So that is something that we have to watch out for. The good thing is simplifying is very simple whenever it comes to slope, because they're typically small numbers. Okay, so pause it right there if you need to and get that written. I'm going to jump over to our assignment, which is that right there. You will, don't worry about the instructions, just do the whole page. So the two that are circled in blue, number 8 and number 9, I'm going to do two ways. So 8 and 9, I'm going to do both. I'm going to do both ways. Okay, I've got it on the next page. So here's number 8. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and graph it first. I've got 3, x of 3, y of 10. Sorry. X of 1, 2, 3, y, x of 3, y of 10. And I'm going to do 6, 6, x of 6, y of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I'm going to graph that right there. There we go. And then I'm going to do what I did. Turn this into a triangle. And how tall is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. And long, 1, 2, 3. 3 long. So remember, it's rise over run. Rise over run. Or y over x. So the rise is 4. And the run is 3. Okay, which is what we did last week. And it is a negative. This is a negative because it is going down. Okay, so it is going to be a negative 4 thirds. Alright, so now I want to do it down here using the table. Okay, the change in x and the change in y. The change in x is plus 30. Make this a little smaller. There we go. The change in y is minus 4. So the change in y over the change in x. How is the y changing? Negative 4. How is the x changing? 3. Negative 4 thirds. Okay. Same thing as what we got up top. So let me change colors here. Alright, I'm going to do number 9. I have 3, positive 3, and negative 8. 2, 3. Make sure that this is right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep. Alright, so that is positive 3, negative 8. Then I'm going to go positive 4, negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is very steep, right? Sure looks like it anyways. There we go. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to turn this into that triangle. How wide is it? It's 1. How tall? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Right. It is positive. As it's going up. Rise over run. It is rising 4, running 1. What does that equal? Just equals 4. Okay. So now let's look at it as a table. How's the x changing? It's going up 1. The y is changing by 4. Notice it's changing by 1 every time. It's changing by 4 every time. So the change in y over the change in x. How's the y changing? By positive 4. The x by 1. So, what is that the same as? Just 4. 4 over 1 is the same as 4. Okay? So, you may find that you like the table better. Maybe it takes a little bit less work than the graph. Alright, so negative 4 thirds and 4. Negative 4 thirds and 4. Alright, so I'm going to do one more. Get a different color because I want to. Let's go with that one. Let's see here. I don't know if there are any funky weird ones on here. I can't remember, so I kind of don't think that there is. So let's look at 5a. Okay, 5a. So how is x changing? 20, 30, 40, 50. It's going up by 10, right? 10, 10, 10. How is y changing? 15 to 11. Well, that's minus 4. 11 to 7. It's minus 4. 7 to 3. Minus 4. So the change in y over the change in x. The y is changing by negative 4. The x is changing by 10. We are going to need to simplify that, right? Because they're both even. So the same thing would be negative 2 over 5. Okay? I think y'all will probably kind of grasp this pretty well. Can do another one just to kind of help you out. I'll do another one on the left side just to see what the difference is here. All right, let me go to number 3, 3a. So the x is changing by 1, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. The y is changing by minus 2, minus 2, minus 2. So the change in y is negative 2. The change in x is 1. So that's just negative 2 divided by 1. So it's negative 2. Okay? Rock on? Rock on.